Finally, Sam Bankman-Fried gets arrested, but there's so much more to the story. Welcome everyone to OG Crypto and NFTs. Today, we're gonna go over the Sam Bankman-Fried saga from the moment he got arrested to the hearings this morning, and to figure out what exactly is going on. What did the new CEO say about the bankruptcy and all of the finances, as well as we're going over an NFTs Bored Ape Yacht Club, all today. But first, before we jump into it, please hit that subscribe button. Boom, boom. We're gonna get into the best 5 to 10 minutes in digital assets and NFTs. Let's jump into it. And I'm going to go over these really fast. Business section, the founder facing charges. New CEO says FTX embezzled customer cash. This is what he testified in front of the committee. The lawmakers today, it just was ridiculous. But some of the things that he said was just so outlandishly crazy that over the last 30 days that we've been hearing from Sam Bankman-Fried, he said some stupid shit, but nothing as crazy as this. So let's go kind of jump right into it. Now I'm going to jump into Twitter here. Here is Congressman talking to Johnny Ray, he's the current FTX CEO. And this is the conversations that they've had when they're talking about what is going on. Let's jump into it.
Let me dive in. A day after FTX filed for bankruptcy, multiple outlets reported that there was a hack or potential theft. You have stated unauthorized access to certain assets occurred and that the company was in touch with law enforcement officials and regulators. Have you determined whether, in fact, assets were moved out after the bankruptcy?
Yes, clearly there was assets moved out after the bankruptcy.
And do you know whether or not that was an actual hack, or was this done, as has been reported, at the direction of the Bahamian authorities?
It was both.
It was both. And so some was done. Some was done as a result of a hack. Some was done as a result of the request of the Bahamian authorities.
Yes, that's right.
And do you have indication as to why the Bahamian authorities made that request?
Well, it wasn't a request. They just took it.
The Bahamian authorities took the funds that were at FTX
Yes.
through their own action. Was no action required by FTX employees? Maybe you could provide just a little color.
They were aided by the ex-employees, yes.
They were aided by former employees
Yes,
of FTX.
Yes, Mr. Wang and Mr. Fried.
Is it in the eyes of the Bahamian authorities, did this to protect clients and creditors? Do you have insight into the motivation behind this action?
Unlike the Chapter 11 process, there's no transparency in the process in the Bahamians, and we've repeatedly asked them for clarity about what they've been doing, and we've been shut down on that.
Let me dive in.
That's crazy. Let's kind of go over what was just discussed. So the day after he was shut down and he filed for bankruptcy, we heard there was a hack, and then you heard that the Bahamas, their government came in and took the money, but we weren't sure what was going on. Mr. John Ray here said that the aided by ex-employees at the time, that the Bahamian government got X amount of money, but what happened to the other hacked money? I mean, come on, let's think this through. If it was a cash grab, and that's exactly what it sounds like, a cash grab. You're telling me employees grabbed a few bucks, and then you had the Bahamian government grabbing money. This was an all-out cash grab. This is what we're coming down to. The only thing I didn't like about any of this conversation is that it didn't happen right away. Once he went into bankruptcy, we should have froze his accounts, or at least made the attempt, or somewhere in the federal government should have immediately contacted the Bahamian government and said, did you take this? We shouldn't be finding this out through bankruptcy court, and then to find out that through a bankruptcy court, the new CEO can't even get any kind of clarification from the Bahamian government, who still has the money. Don't like any of that. That's not good. But let's continue on here. The Gary Gensler saga continues. Here we go.
We know that Chair Gensler had more meetings with FTX than anyone else in the crypto industry. We understand that what was being negotiated was a framework for digital asset exchange registration and token registration with the SEC that would benefit both parties. It would expand the SEC's jurisdiction in exchange for the SEC's preferential treatment of FTX over other industry participants. We understand there was a lot of activity to move this idea forward, including the circulation of draft short-form disclosures that would enable filers to get tokens listed on this newly formed bespoke exchange. Mr. Ray, I know you're handicapped with the information you currently have obtained, but Chair Gensler refuses to answer our questions or testify before this committee. Will you commit to sharing with this committee any internal documents you come across regarding communication between FTX and Mr. Gensler or others at the SEC?
We'll fully cooperate, with the committee and the regulatory authorities with respect to our investigation.
Again.
So let's go over exactly what happened in this conversation, which is, again, a bombshell. Basically, SBF went to Gary Gensler of the SEC. Instead of Gary Gensler investigating, making sure that he had his books straight, that the FTT token wasn't a security, which is obviously a security that was made out of thin air and utilized as far as it possibly could be to leverage liquidity on their platform. But we won't even discuss how poorly that was taken. It was the discussions that Gary Gensler had with SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, to regulate crypto that would skew it towards Sam Bankman-Fried having a big advantage over any other exchange and possibly having preferential treatment. That's what's being discussed right here. Again, if we go one step further and we look at the horrendous stupidity of it all, breaking news, Eleanor Terrett, SBF requested for bail has been denied as judge believes him as a flight risk. Boom, he's gone. But check this out. Testimony straight from the bankruptcy CEO, which is John Ray. Sam Bankman-Fried had all his accounts on QuickBooks. Guys, QuickBooks. How did anybody in their right minds go in there and talk to Sam Bankman-Fried and hand him $1 million, $10 million, $100 million, and they didn't go look at the books, just even being printed out or sent to him on QuickBooks? Did they just believe him? I mean, all those Bitcoin maxis and all their VC buddies, all those Ethereum maxis and their VC buddies went in there and just took his word for it? This is ridiculous, guys. This is ridiculous. I get that the government can be corrupt. There's no question about it. Campaign contributions all the way to the end. But to have VCs out there that are taking people's money and not doing their due diligence and letting this guy just buy real estate, buy, $55,000, dinners at Margaritaville and stiffing Margaritaville or Jimmy Buffett, having his books on QuickBooks. Guys, this is ridiculous. I can't believe that people would give him so much money. And those are your whistleblowers. Those are the people that should have known up front. Now, there's been a few people that have come out that said, hey, we didn't invest in him because he didn't have any books to show us, nor did he have a board of directors or anything like a semblance of a big, high quality company. I get it. But when you're looking at Sequoia, who I believe is just part of the dirtiness of it all, but just got caught up in it, I'm looking at several other of these VCs. I think that they knew that this was going on and they saw an opportunity to take advantage of the situation and to get what they wanted. They never thought the music would stop so quickly all at once and that it wasn't enough chairs for them. They're going to be out money. Genesis is going to get crushed. I really think Genesis is going to get crushed as well as all the VC firms. How can you tell me the digital cryptocurrency group, DCG, absolutely gave this guy $900 million? Or I think that's what numbers. How did they do it without seeing the books? And if there was some falsified financials, we want to see it. Let's go show it. Why are you hiding it? Are you embarrassed? You're going to be embarrassed in your own bankruptcy proceedings here in a little bit. With that being said, this is the mess that crypto is in. There's too many guys that got rich off of Bitcoin and Ethereum scamming people and were able to manipulate the markets, made their millions and possibly billions, and then they turned around and thought they were the smartest VCs in the world, put money back into it and lost money on Three Arrows Capital, Voyager, lost money on Celsius, BlockFi, now lost money on SBF. They're losing money left and right. And now they're all kind of taking a step back and they're like panicking because this now has a lot of connect the dots to it. I think we're not even over. We're going to hear a little bit of silence here because Sam Bankman-Fried just can't go and do, interview and do Twitter spaces while he's in jail. At least I don't think he can. But we're going to continue to see more and more information come out on this. We'll probably see his father and mother. They're going to go down. Gary Wang, I think, is going down for sure. And anybody around him. We're going to see what happens to Caroline Ellison. Is she's the one was she singing about this, and that's why they went after him, and they knew where to look. I know Johnny Ray already had said this, but a lot going on here. This is a complete mess. I don't want to speculate. All I know is that this guy did favors for the media, did favors for politicians so he can get as much influence as possible to get what he wanted in crypto to make sure that he was the only game in town, that people would have to use FTX, and Alameda was able to manipulate the market and hurt their own depositors on multiple occasions by shorting what they felt was their stocks. And that's where I think some of these VC firms who didn't look at his financials but were in on the scheme because they could use their money also to leverage. Just my personal opinion. I have no insider, but the more you step back and you get to see the bigger picture, the more I see this. All right, but this doesn't end. Let's go on to the next one. Bahamas reportedly asked Sam Bankman-Fried to mint new coins after FTX collapse. What the fuck is going on here? I don't get this whatsoever. Are you saying that they wanted to be a part of the scam? I mean, it just keeps seeing that. Why would you do this? You didn't come out, didn't say a word, and now this is being reported right now? This is not good. This just seems like they wanted to be part of the scam. If he could make a couple of $100 million worth of coins, well, they could take advantage of it, sell it off, say, oh, it's used for depositors' money, and they give out half the money and they charge these enormous fees. I don't know. I'm spitballing, but this craziness is just right here in our face. But I digress. Let's get into something new. Binance withdrawals hit 1.9 billion in 24 hours. Data firm shows we're seeing this FUD for Binance. And I really think it was a diversion the last 2 or 3 days because Sam Bankman-Fried was going up to and talk to Congress. And because it was going to be a complete mess, they wanted to start fudding CZ at Binance here and put him on the defense. And he's like, nope, I'm cool. I have all my funds sitting here. You want to pull it out? No problem, pull it out. And so that's where I'm happy we're seeing exchange hold up. I'm praying that they do have all the funds, all the customer funds or deposits on their exchange, and they're just here to make fees. They're not here to leverage their customer funds like SBF. All right, I know I've been rambling on here. It's a lot going on, but let's get into the NFT world. Let's bring our producer, Emmy. Emmy, how are you doing?
I am good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I know, boy, yesterday we had so much SBF information, and today, and then last night, after all that information, and tonight, last night, boom, all of a sudden he gets arrested. And then more stuff comes out. I'm telling you, I listened to about an hour of Twitter Spaces, and there is a lot of people out there that are not happy with Mr. Wonderful. Not happy at all.
I mean, why would you be happy with Mr. Wonderful right now?
Yeah, he has to go eat some crow because now you have some real information. But they think that he was going to fund a few little dollars here and maybe make this exchange bigger, and then bring in other entities to really manipulate stocks and crypto. But I digress. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Got the bow in the hair today.
Yeah, we had to paint on a happy face.
Got Killer Bear on.
Yeah, to get everything moving.
There we go.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about Dolce and Gabbana.
Dolce and Gabbana are doing a collab with the Inbetweeners, and it's going to be an NFT digital drip collection. It is not released yet, but I think this is very interesting because we have been covering a lot of different luxury designers jumping into NFT and Web3.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting that they're collaborating with an established community. That makes a lot of sense, so that they can kind of just jump in and ride their bandwagon. I think it's interesting that they chose this community and collection specifically. Does this remind you of anything at all?
Care Bears?
Okay, maybe this one.
No.
Does this remind you of anything at all?
What should it remind me of?
So to me, this is almost like a new luxury take on a Bored Ape, but a different way.
Okay.
This is like from an artist perspective. When I first look at it, this is what it makes me think of.
Oh, wow.
So I genuinely wonder if they're trying to ride the animal picture craze and just kind of jump in and cash out and see whatever they can get. That's just my suspicion. I'm not saying there's any type of actual collaboration there. But one thing that I do think is interesting about this is it's going to be a phygital collection, meaning you get a physical print of one of the 21 artworks associated.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I kind of like that. That's like becoming the newer thing to do.
Yeah, I think having some sort of phygital item, it makes someone who's not super into NFTs even more interesed in possibly buying an NFT.
And
so
connecting the dots.
And connecting dots, worlds. Yeah, it's gonna push, I think, adoption as well as like just getting people in the space. So this collection actually does drop today. There's going to be 3 degrees of minting access, and it will start as early as 3 p.m. Eastern. So if you're looking to hop on that, you should do that immediately right now.
It started at 1 p.m. today, our time.
Our time, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is currently happening. If you are a big Dolce and Gabbana fan, or you're really into the Inbetweeners, it would definitely be a great collection to jump in on. So our next piece of news here, if you could title, please.
It says Kevin Hart, Jimmy Fallon, Madonna. I can probably name a few more. Snoop Dogg was thrown in here.
Yep.
Named in class action lawsuit alleging Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT fraud scheme.
Yeah, so this is kind of interesting. I didn't read a ton of the details, but it does say that the Federal District Court of LA is going after veteran music manager Guy Oseary. Oh my gosh, there's 37 defendants. That's too funny. Kevin Hart, Gwyneth Paltrow, Madonna, Justin Bieber, Serena Williams, Jimmy Fallon, Paris Hilton, Snoop Dogg, The Weeknd, Post Malone, Steph Curry, also Amy Wu. Wow. Crazy. So
they're alleging that it's an NFT fraud scheme. So
yeah.
what's fraud about this?
So it has to do with the way they were doing the marketing. So like, actually we have another one right here. This kind of explains
misleading.
It. Yeah,
okay.
They're saying that there's misleading marketing having to do with the Bored Ape NFTs. I'm wondering if this is just fluff to take slight attention off of the FTX, Gary Gensler, just SEC failure that has been 2020.
I mean, how could you? I mean, first of all, these people, as well as Yuga Labs, who owns Bored Ape Yacht Club, or at least has the collection under their umbrella. I mean, you're talking about people. You're talking about just that company has hundreds of millions of dollars, let alone all these celebrities are worth. So you're going after something that's going to fight you pretty hard back.
Yeah, I think it's pretty silly, to be honest with you. I mean, I do know Paris Hilton does own a Bored Ape, so it's kind of interesting that she's being brought up in this type of lawsuit when she does actually own this one.
Well, I think what happened was that every one of these posted on their Twitter account.
Yeah, so you're immediately going to be
advertising.
Yeah, which
that's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah. Like I almost wonder if this is going to get dropped the way the Kim K stuff got dropped. You know
that or just settled.
Or settled.
The back room.
Yeah, it won't matter.
Yeah.
So that's it for today.
Hey, well, thank you guys very much for joining us. Again, another Sam Bankman-Fried Madness Day. We keep finding out newer and better and more fun things about him. But it's nice to get back in the NFT world. It was, to see everyone out there getting sued. Can't wait for that to happen, right? Not.
Yeah.
You guys have a fantastic day, and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye.